Islam Makhachev versus Michale Morales will not be close. Just 3 days ago, Islam Makhachev released to the media in an interview that he was offered a fight in January and that he believes it was going to be against none other than Michale Morales. However, Islam Makhachev said that he turned down the fight because he would not be ready on that time because it was only offered to him back in December and that was not enough time to get ready. He instead said that he will return around April, May, or June, and since he thinks he's going to fight Michale Morales, we are going to give you guys our full breakdown and prediction of that fight. You guys know how these videos go. We break down each fighter and their fighting styles with their recent history, as well as how they match up against each other, and then at the end of the video, we give you guys a breakdown on how this fight will go and who I think will win this fight, so make sure you guys stay to the end to get that full prediction. And if you want 2 to 3 high-quality UFC uploads every single week on YouTube, you might as well hit that subscribe button because in 2026, when we become a big channel, you could look back and say you're a day one subscriber. But with that out of the way, let's get right into this video. And the first fighter that we are going to look at is Michale Morales. Now, if you guys don't know him, now you do. Michale Morales is 19-0, 7 of those wins being in the UFC, and another one of those wins being in the Dana White Contender Series, which ultimately got him into the UFC. So he's beaten everyone he has come across, and he is a very, very powerful striker, and he's a very big fighter for the welterweight division. He is huge. He has a huge frame, huge size, and that has helped him out in a lot of his fights. His most recent fight was back in November against none other than Sean Brady, the same Sean Brady who's been on a dominant run at welterweight with a win over Leon Edwards, where he made Leon Edwards, former UFC champion, look like an absolute amateur. And this was before Leon Edwards losing to Carlos Prates. People still consider Leon Edwards a great fighter. I thought he was a good fighter. I bet on Leon Edwards to win that fight against Sean Brady. And boy, was I wrong. He got absolutely dominated and ultimately submitted by Sean Brady. And this was a Sean Brady everyone said deserved a title shot. And he was the favorite going into his fight with Michale Morales. And everyone thought he was going to win that and then fight for the belt against the winner of Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. Which we predicted that fight correctly. So you already know that this prediction is going to be a banger as well. But yes, that dominant wrestler, Sean Brady, Michale Morales just absolutely smoked him, put his lights out in the first round, and that was with the odds stacked against him. Sean Brady was the favorite going into that fight. So a lot of people see this matchup, Michale Morales, the big, great striker versus Islam Makhachev, another dominant wrestler. Can Michale Morales do the same thing? Will he put his lights out? A lot of people are saying yes. Now, my official prediction we'll get into in a few minutes, but now we looked at the Michale Morales side, let's go over and look at the Islam Makhachev side of things. And the Michale Morales side, very impressive. I mean, he made Sean Brady, that dominant contender, he made a move down to lightweight. I mean, that's the caliber of fighter we're talking about with Michale Morales here. But looking at Islam Makhachev, I know who he is. You know who he is. He's 28-1-0. He was a dominant lightweight champion with wins over Charles Oliveira, the legendary champion at the time on his crazy winning streak. Wins over Alexander Volkanovski not once but twice. And this was the Volk who was #1 pound-for-pound ranked fighter in the UFC. Wins over Dustin Poirier, Renato Moicano, Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, King Green. This guy has a great resume in the UFC. Dominated absolutely everybody at lightweight, and then he moved up to welterweight this year in 2025. And the big question was, with Islam Makhachev at welterweight, will he be able to dominate with his wrestling there against bigger opponents in a bigger weight class, the same as he was able to at 155, a lighter weight class? And the answer was absolutely yes. A lot of people going into this fight said that he wasn't going to be able to, but in my specific prediction, if you guys remember, I told you guys that is exactly how this will go, and that's exactly how it went. I mean, Makhachev got on the creatine, looked bigger and stronger than ever, exactly as I said, and he dominated Jack Della Maddalena all 5 rounds. And this was supposed to be a super close fight between him and JDM. A lot of people thought JDM was going to win that fight. But as always on this channel, we speak the truth, so another great reason to subscribe. But Islam Makhachev looked even better at welterweight than he ever did at lightweight. I mean, going into the fight, Makhachev said that he was only 60 to 70% of himself at lightweight. And now at welterweight, after that UFC 322 performance, it's honestly hard to doubt him with how good he looked against a great competitor in Jack Della Maddalena. And yes, Makhachev is Khabib's protege, dominant wrestler, one of the best wrestlers of all time, widely considered a top 5 UFC fighter of all time, but where he differs from Khabib is that he's not only a great wrestler, he is a very good stand-up striker in the UFC. Now, maybe he's not on the level of a prime Anderson Silva or a prime Conor McGregor, but this guy's no slouch on the feet. I mean, he's got a head kick KO win over Volk. He's dropped Charles Oliveira, a prime Charles Oliveira. He outstruck Dustin Poirier, who is a legendary UFC striker himself. This guy's striking is very good. Like I said, not prime Anderson Silva, but definitely good on the feet, capable of getting the job done against almost anyone in the UFC, and he has showed that time and time again. And then when you add his dominant wrestling on top of that, I think he's a top 5 MMA wrestler of all time. We got the makes for a pretty unstoppable fighter, and he's in his prime at a great weight class for himself where he's not fighting too weight deprived. He looks absolutely unstoppable right now. And getting into my prediction, as much as I like Michale Morales and I think he's a cool fighter, I think he's very good himself. I think he has a bright future and eventually could be UFC champion one day. I do not think that day comes in 2026 against Islam Makhachev. I think that Makhachev's a top 5 fighter all time, and I think he very well has the potential to go down as the GOAT if he plays this welterweight run out correctly and goes undefeated in welterweight. I think he could end up as the GOAT if he takes the right matchups. We will see. I'll make another video about that in the future, so subscribe to see that. But I think he is in his prime right now, looking better than ever at welterweight. And I think Morales is a great fighter, but I don't think he's great enough to beat a guy who's on a literal potential GOAT run right in front of our eyes right here in the UFC. This is no discredit to Morales, but I think that Makhachev is too good. And how I see this fight going out, I do think Makhachev gets Morales down. I know Morales is big, and he stands with his hips way behind his hands, and he has good takedown defense. But I think that Makhachev is ultimately another level of skill here when we're talking about wrestling that nobody is able to keep up with, except maybe Khamzat Chimaev in a miracle fantasy matchup that we'll likely never see, because Khamzat's talking about going up to light heavyweight, and that's another video for another time. But you can't make up that skill difference against someone like Makhachev. And although I do think Morales has a better chance to beat Makhachev than most other people, because I think basically the only way you beat Makhachev is if you land that one strike on that just puts him out right then and there. I think that's how you beat him. And like I've said before, that is not a good thing to rely on. You can't rely on that to beat someone. And I can't give you guys that pick and saying that that's a likely case to happen. I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, Michale Morales is the fighter to pick just because I want to be controversial and give you guys a funny, interesting pick to make myself different from everyone. No, Islam Makhachev is the right pick. We are not relying on one-hit magic. It does happen in fights, but I don't think it happens in this fight, and I will not tell you guys that that is a good prediction. I think Makhachev ultimately gets a takedown and wins by submission, or he rides it out and wins by decision in similar to fashion to how he beat JDM. We will see if Makhachev can submit these bigger guys. He could not submit JDM. Can he submit Morales, who is also a big fighter like JDM? Only time will tell us. But either way, I think he has enough wrestling to either ride it out by decision or ultimately get the submission. But then again, everyone said that's how Brady versus Morales was going to go. Brady was just too good of a wrestler and going to out-grapple Morales and beat him. And what happened? Morales puts his lights out in round 1. So who's to say that doesn't happen in this fight? Not me. I'm just telling you what I think. You guys let me know down below. Who do you think that wins this fight? Islam Makhachev or Michale Morales? And before you leave this video, if I was a matchmaker of the UFC, what fight would I make? I would make Islam Makhachev versus Machado Garry. I know a lot of us don't like Garry. We think he's kind of corny, kind of annoying on the mic in the UFC. However, I think he has done enough to earn the next title shot, and I think it should be him versus Islam Makhachev. And then you have Carlos Prates, Michale Morales, Kamaru Usman, and Shavkat Rakhmonov as the next 4 guys. In my brain, I do Michale Morales versus Carlos Prates. That's guaranteed violence, guaranteed knockout, guaranteed entertaining fight for the fans. And then another great fight is Kamaru Usman versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. And whoever has the most impressive win out of those 2 fights, you give the title shot. The other one could sit around or take another matchup, maybe against the loser of Garry versus Islam Makhachev. And that's how you sort out the top of the welterweight division, in my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think down below. Will Islam Makhachev beat Michale Morales, or do you think Morales has what it takes to put Makhachev out? Do you think that's a likely scenario? I know it's possible, but is it likely? You let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys later this week with the next upload. Deuces.